You've been taught to believe you're alone in this, that your thoughts are just echoes inside your skull, isolated and powerless. But what if I told you the way you think isn't just shaping your mood, it's shaping your reality? Not in some abstract feel-good kind of way, but in a very real, deeply rooted, quantum and psychological way. The moment you understand that your perception is not passive but participatory, everything changes. You're not just watching life unfold. You're in constant interaction with it. Like particles entangled across galaxies, your inner world is tethered to your outer world, and every thought, every belief sends ripples across the field of your existence. Fear doesn't just color your thinking, it molds the very path your life takes. Resentment doesn't stay locked in your heart, it draws more of itself into your world. That ache of inadequacy, it carves your decisions, your relationships, your future. Most people don't see this. They think life happens to them, blind to the fact that they're co-creating every step. The patterns in your mind aren't just habits, they're blueprints. You're not separate from the life you complain about. You're fused to it. The beliefs you've nurtured, the emotions you've recycled, they're constructing the very world you're trying to escape. But there's a crack in the wall, a way out. Shift how you see, and what you see begins to shift with you. Not through fake optimism or hollow affirmations, but through a radical shift in awareness. When you train your mind to see growth in the pain, to find the lesson in the loss, you don't just feel better, you become better. You become less like a passenger and more like the one steering the wheel. Life begins to answer you differently because your signal has changed. The world doesn't move until you do. People ask how to unlock energy, how to stay focused, how to become powerful. And the answer is uncomfortable. Clean your lens. Your clarity is bleeding out through invisible wounds. Old stories you've never rewritten, judgments you haven't released, fears you keep pretending aren't there. Energy doesn't disappear, it gets stuck. And where it's stuck, so are you. You've got loops running in the background, beliefs that were never yours to begin with, emotions that aren't based in today but in yesterday's pain, thoughts that sabotage your rise before you even take a step. That's where your energy is buried. Not lost, just trapped beneath the weight of unconscious programming. And the subconscious? It's not just a dusty basement of forgotten memories. It's the software running the whole damn show. And the terrifying truth? It can be reprogrammed, but not with surface-level positivity. The subconscious doesn't understand words. It understands repetition, emotion, symbols. It learns through intensity and belief. So every time you repeat a lie about yourself, every time you validate your limits with emotion, you're not just thinking, you're coding. You're installing boundaries your soul was never meant to live within. And this is why people stay stuck. They chase success with a broken belief system. They whisper affirmations while their body still vibrates with guilt, with fear, with shame. You can't override your subconscious with sweet talk. You have to get beneath the noise, through silence, through stillness, through raw truth. You have to face what you've buried and unhook yourself from the emotional anchors still pulling you under. Because that's the real prison. The parts of your past you haven't stopped reacting to. The nervous system that flinches at ghosts. The energy bracing for impact that's never coming. Until you break that loop, you will feel tired for reasons you can't name. You'll feel stuck in cycles you swear you're done with. You'll keep sabotaging things you claim to want. And you'll call it fate, but it's not fate. It's programming. Rewrite the code and you unlock energy that was always yours. Not just to survive, but to create, to build, to lead. You don't just become more awake, you become more alive. And the world begins to move differently because your presence has changed. Because energy follows belief. And when belief is fractured, so is your life. Fix the belief and the structure of your life will shift to match it. There's a principle in quantum mechanics that says just the act of watching changes what's being watched. It sounds like magic, but it's not. It's physics, and it's psychology. Where you place your attention shapes what you become. Focus is not neutral, it is fuel. Your life doesn't grow from what you say you want. It grows from what you consistently observe. When you wake up and fixate on what's missing, what's broken, what's wrong, you're not just noticing reality, you're cementing it. You carry that lens into every room, every conversation, every decision, and your life begins to reflect back the storm you keep rehearsing in your mind. That's the feedback loop. That's the chain reaction. Most people are trapped in it without ever realizing it. But if you flip the switch, not with delusion, but with intention, if you choose what to see, what to feed, what to amplify, the loop breaks. You start sending new signals, and the world listens. Not immediately, not always, obviously. But over time, it adjusts, because you're no longer moving from fear, from distraction, from chaos. You're choosing, you're directing, you're building instead of bracing. Attention is your most underestimated power. It's the spotlight you shine on reality. It tells your brain what matters, and your brain builds your life around what you decide matters. So stop leaking your energy on noise. Reclaim your focus. Redirect your lens. Because what you choose to see is what you give life to. And once you understand that, once you stop waiting for change and start becoming the change, everything begins to reorganize. Patterns collapse, possibilities emerge, the field responds, and you realize it was never out there. It was always in here, waiting for you to look with new eyes. Your subconscious isn't just sitting in the background of your mind, it's actively working. It's constantly absorbing everything around you, interpreting every signal, and shaping your internal state based on what you believe is true. Not necessarily what is true, but what you believe. And that is a crucial difference. Let me explain why this matters. If deep down you believe the world is hostile, that you're inadequate, or that your efforts don't matter, your body and mind will respond to match that belief. You'll carry tension, second-guess yourself, and your perception of what's possible shrinks. You'll feel guarded, and your energy drains. But if your core belief is about growth, resilience, and the pursuit of meaningful challenges, your body shifts in response. You stand taller, speak with more confidence, and become more willing to face adversity. The world might look the same, but you've changed. And when you change, the world begins to change with you. Here's the thing, belief isn't just a thought, it's a command. Your subconscious listens, and it works to fulfill whatever belief you've embedded deep within. And you've built those beliefs over time through your emotions, focus, and the stories you tell yourself. That's what quantum psychology calls the observer effect. You're not just watching life unfold, you are actively shaping it through the lens of your identity. If you want to tap into the immense energy buried deep in your subconscious, you need to start by looking at your beliefs. Not just the ones you say out loud, but the ones your actions reveal, the ones formed from painful moments or broken models. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Who taught me to see myself this way? And more importantly, is this belief still serving the life I want to create? Your beliefs are like software running your system. If it's outdated or corrupted, no matter how hard you try, your system won't function properly. But when you upgrade those beliefs, replace confusion with clarity and fear with responsibility, your subconscious stops working against you. It starts working for you. In the end, belief is not just about thinking, it's about embodying. When you align your beliefs with your purpose, that hidden energy, which once seemed out of reach, becomes the very force that propels you forward. Here's something uncomfortable but worth considering. You'll never fully access your potential unless you confront the chaos within you. And this chaos is not just psychological, it's energetic. It's all the unresolved, unspoken, and unconscious stuff that shapes how you see the world and what you allow yourself to pursue. People often talk about wanting power, clarity, or purpose, but they rarely acknowledge the work that must be done to integrate the shadow, the parts of themselves they've repressed, feared, or avoided. Carl Jung understood this concept well. He knew that the shadow holds not just destructive tendencies, but also untapped strength, assertiveness, creativity, and fire. These are the parts of us that we've been conditioned to hide. But here's the harsh reality. When you suppress the chaos, it doesn't vanish. It festers. It leaks out in passive aggression, procrastination, self-doubt, and sabotage. You bury it deep enough, and eventually it forms a wall between you and the energy you want to unlock. So what does this all have to do with reclaiming your energy? Everything. Your subconscious doesn't work in a linear way like your conscious mind. It doesn't separate past, present, and future. It holds on to everything. All your pain, your wins, your losses. When you leave that internal chaos unexamined, it quietly drains your vitality. Like a slow leak, you carry unresolved conflicts that were never addressed, and they drain you without you even realizing it. You wonder why you feel tired, uninspired, or stuck, but it's because you're hauling around all this unresolved energy. Here's the ironic part. The very chaos you avoid contains the energy you're looking for. When you stop running from it and face it with clarity instead of judgment, you reclaim that energy. You integrate it, and that integration makes you whole. You become more grounded, more alive, more present. But this transformation isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. Growth isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about transforming it. It's about walking directly into what you fear and emerging stronger, more focused, and more alive than ever. So, when that internal noise gets overwhelming, don't run from it. Don't distract yourself. Stop and listen. There's wisdom in the chaos. If you're willing to face it, you'll realize that the energy you thought you lost was never gone. It was just waiting for you to stop hiding from it. There's a truth that's easy to overlook in our world of constant stimulation and validation seeking. And that truth is this: silence isn't emptiness. It's a forge. It's a psychological space where the deepest parts of ourselves either disintegrate or integrate. The reason so many people avoid silence is because it forces them to confront the truth of who they are and who they are not. Now, this is where things get deep. The connection between quantum entanglement and consciousness isn't just a metaphor. It's not about particles across time and space mirroring each other. It's about the instant connection between seemingly separate parts of your being. Your thoughts, behaviors, memories, even your traumas are all entangled. You can't touch one without influencing the others. So when you step into silence, you're not withdrawing from life. You're creating space for real recalibration. You're letting the subconscious patterns rise and reveal themselves. That's where real transformation starts. If you're constantly reacting to external noise, other people's opinions, fears, distractions, then you're not truly living. You're being lived by your conditioning. But when you learn to sit in stillness, to embrace discomfort without rushing to escape it, you begin to see your inner world for what it truly is. And when you can observe it clearly, you gain the power to change it. This is how you reclaim real energy. It's shocking how much psychic energy gets wasted on overthinking, worrying about things that have no bearing on the life you're meant to live. Silence cuts through that. It shows you what's noise and what's signal. It helps you see what's essential and what's just habitual. And this is not some feel-good fluff. This is psychological discipline. It takes real courage to disconnect in a world that prizes constant connection. But the paradox is that once you do, you reconnect to something far more powerful: your own clarity. The quiet, intuitive voice that's been drowned out by the noise of everything else. So if you're serious about unlocking the energy, clarity, and purpose within you, start here. Embrace the silence. Let it reveal the truth. Let it untangle the confusion. And you'll discover that the answers you've been searching for out there have always been within you, waiting for you to stop running from yourself.